Hi, good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the cosmos. Welcome to In on the Conversation, episode 4, the topic of death. I'm your host, Pam Singh, and this is
Nikki Tanas, your other host.
So, welcome to a very engaging, multifaceted topic. Let's just say
Death.
Death, the death experience.
Dun, dun, dun.
Do. Anyway, how you doing over there first?
Doing good. You know, there's an end of the world storm happening outside, right outside this window. And I swear, I hope we can't hear it, because if I were to I opened the windows earlier and it was like, whew, I'm like, whoa. So it's interesting. It's interesting times, but it looks nice through the window, but not being out there. So it's pretty to look at.
How much snow did you get?
In about an hour.
What?
Yeah. It's been raining, snowing all day, on and off. Yeah. And then I don't know what happened tonight, like a little while. Okay, maybe 2 hours there.
Yeah.
About that much.
There you go.
Yeah. So, as you can tell, we're a bit giggly and probably nervous, and we're being girls, and, you know, because we're talking about something that we all go through. Yet, I don't know.
Well, we've all experienced at some point in our life through family members or friends or whoever, and, you know, we're all eventually going to go through.
At some point, yeah. Once we finish experiencing the themes that we came here to experience, right, Pam? So where do we start? Well,
a good place to start is somewhere. It's a good place as any.
Somewhere, eh? Well, why don't I start by saying I used to be very afraid of death. As in, you know that saying, deathly scared? I mean, all these phrases that we have in English, right? And I know that all of you, or a lot of you, can relate to this, because, no, but I mean, like, really fucking scared. When I was little, like 5 or 6, I went to my first funeral. It was here, actually, in my hometown. And it was my great-granddad on my mom's side.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened. Nothing significant happened. Something happened to him, but I was so scared, and I got something happened to me. And you know what I think it was, actually? I think it was the ritual around it. So I think it's mostly, you know, how we treat the process of, not the process of dying, but the whole experience of it from a cultural standpoint and religious meet, right? We have a celebration. Well, it's not a celebration, but it's a remembrance, and you go pay your respect. And in this culture here, they're Orthodox. They drag it out for a week.
It's a celebration of the person's life.
I know, but you see how I express it? How my view of it now is they drag it out for a week, and you call it a celebration of life. I love how elegant you are about it. I need to learn that. I guess I have no resonance with that. That's why, right? That said, you know what? It's no wonder that you and I are the people we are, and I'll speak for me that we're constantly self-developing and investing in us and our understanding of who we are, our infinity, and how we fit in this world, and, you know, that connection with the eternal self, right?
Yes.
So because of that, and because of some experiences that you and I had that we're going to talk about right after, I'm understanding, I have a way better understanding of me, meaning of death. I don't understand. Beloved passed. Freak accident, but it happened. And the night that he was passing, I actually dreamt of him, and I felt something. I can't say that I knew he passed, but he came in my dream. I've never dreamt of him, ever. I had no reason to.
Right.
And he was there. It was a joyful dream. I don't know what specifically it was. You can go to my library and check it out if you're really curious.
Yes.
But when I went to the wake, or to the celebration of life, as soon as I walked into the chapel, he was smiling, he was laughing, and I could hear his laughter. And he's like, oh, there you are. You came. And he's really happy. And he's at a good place. And he was telling me this, and he was telling me to tell his sister. Now, his sister is someone I grew up with, and we're the same age. And he's like, go tell her I'm good. And he's like, she'll understand. She'll know. She'll be the only one. So I did.
They
I
always
went
have messages, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went and I told her. And in that space, that moment right there, and you
Right.
know how much she
Wow.
thanked me? She had tears in her eyes, but she's like, thank you for being here. At least thank you for showing up and being with me during this. So,
Oh.
yeah, so you see how my experience changed? I wasn't afraid of seeing the body there. I wasn't like, ooh, I don't, I actually welcomed it. And I don't know if I welcomed it is the right way to express it, but it was okay. I guess I have a different understanding. I didn't cry. I can't. I guess I have a different
Perspective on it.
perspective on it. Yeah. And the fact that I have a relationship with the non-physical self of
Yes.
in fact, I'm closer with these people more than I was with them alive. So
I've heard that too.
yeah.
That people's relationships are better in the passing because
Yeah.
that relationship still like carries on, and in the passing, now that some of that resistance is gone, there's a different kind of conversation being had. And what you just said earlier, when you're sharing how he came in your dream, we blogged about this on MCS about dream sequences, how you can, I almost see it like a Vesica Pisces. There's the world of Nikki and this world of this young man, right? This man who passed away. And then the shared reality is the dream world, which
The
is another
intersection.
reality.
Yeah.
So he shared that, and he delivered a message for you in that space for her sister. That's fucking amazing.
But that was his path of least resistance, right? Me. I was the conduit for that because I'm great with it. I mean, I was fine. I received it with joy in my heart, and I was so happy to go deliver that message, right? And
Yeah.
you know, Pam,
Yeah.
it was something really magical to hear his voice, hear the laughter, to actually hear it. And you know
Yes.
what it did for me in that moment? I want to share this.
Yeah.
It kind of, I was there, but my presence was elsewhere, as in it was there, but it was in a different way. So I did not see what was happening. I did not engage with the ones around that were crying and all this. I was just engaged with him and his sister. That's it.
You know, okay, that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that. And also, I want to acknowledge that it's brave for you to share those messages as well, right? Because channelers, people who are conduits, can choose how they like to practice, right? Whatever. And you just came and you're like, I'm going to deliver this message to the sister.
Well, you know, I kind of deliver messages I do that with you too. So
yes, we just drop it on
like,
iMessage and be like, boom, this is what I got in your dream. This is what I got. And I love that. And some people, so it's just, you and I are used to each other. So we just drop messages like that.
Well, because we open up to the other world, because I mean, this is us here. There's life beyond us. This is part of us. The bigger part of us is the non-physical self, right? The unseen forces, like the emotion, all of that. So.
Oh gosh, I was going to share something. I wanted to acknowledge that sometimes, when you're saying about the crying and the grieving, there's a process of and there's a different perspective, because of my criminology background. A lot of the forensic scientists that deal with death, and when you're talking about the body state, rigor mortis or bloating or whatever it is that the body goes through, they have a different perspective because they see it so often. That the grieving process may not be there because they have a different understanding of it, a different experience of it that shapes how they see death, right? I mean, part of it's a bit of like dark humor or whatever they call it, but some of it's just like they just know that for them that's a body. And that, I know somebody who, I can't remember if she worked in a morgue, and she stopped because she wanted to, she couldn't grieve anymore. because it was just you know what I mean? It was
I understand
that was part of her work. And then another perspective is like people who are channelers or people who hear those who have passed away. You're kind of sitting there at a funeral, and then here you have the person's infinity talk to you beside you, right? It's almost like, it's like you think you're going crazy, but you ain't. But it's a different perspective.
Yeah.
Right? It's
it
just
is
a different perspective.
I agree.
Hence why you were connecting with a few that understood that.
Well, I found it. Remember when I was doing a lot of Abraham work, and when Jerry passed, right?
Yeah.
And Esther or Abraham kept talking about Esther's experience with Jerry, now in his non-physical form, and how much
that
closer
new relationship.
And
how much closer? Yeah.
And I remember saying, my God, I'm looking forward to that. I want to know what that feels like. I want to have that relationship with the non-physical. I want to be, and look at that, I am. See, because I opened myself up to it. Right? I opened myself up to understanding.
We talked about that on the blog as well, how they're like your biggest cheerleaders, right? How those loved ones who have passed are still very invested in what you're doing, what kind of projects. They still have a say. They're like wanting to, hey, you know what? Have you thought of this? And so there's a collaboration still going on there from beyond, or whatever you want to call it. There's still a relationship there should you choose to want to engage in that.
I want to add to that and say, in fact, it's even a more fulfilling relationship in the sense that they are in pure positive form in their non-physical state. Once we transition into a different form, we're in pure positive form, right?
Yeah.
And because of that, they're constantly looking out for you. They are where your infinity is. They
still is.
Exactly, and always will be. It's never ending.
You can tune in and tap into that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the messages they give you are always for the benefit of everyone involved. It's never out of harm. And that thing of ghosts and they're scared, that's just Hollywood crap. And bless Hollywood, right? Because that's okay.
It's just the conversations evolving more into other realms, right? That we're starting to discover this topic in a new way.
Well, I like it. Would you want to share, the sparkle?
Yeah, let's share the spark. That's a good way of saying it. Let's share the sparkle. I like that. Thank you.
That was one of my moments in time. I want to share this for me. I don't know if I've ever told you this. Not that it was a happy moment, but it was a very soulful moment for me to be able to experience that with you and be able to witness that and see it and go, I saw that. I'll let you elegantly take it away.
What Nikki is referring to is my dad's passing, right? So, oh my gosh, that was such a pivotal moment in time in my life.
Yeah,
because
sure was.
Death makes you question a lot of things. Why are you here? What are you doing with your time? Knowing that it's limited, right? So how does one start that? When Dad passed away, those are some tough times. And because he wasn't just my dad, he was my best friend, and he still is my best friend. And I call him Dad, right?
It was a dear friend to me. He was someone who I had a lot of respect for, and I known him for 1 year at that time, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And we had such a special bond right from the get-go. I remember the first time meeting him, we all went out for sushi. He's like, "You're buying me sushi and a beer." I'm like, "Okay."
I remember that.
Right.
I remember that. Yeah, no, he's an amazing human being, and taught me a lot. And what happened was, what you're referring to is we were sitting in our old place at that time when we were, right?
Our penthouse.
And no.
Oh.
We were at ground level at the garden suite. And I was writing the eulogy.
Right.
That's the thing about death. It's a very selfish act. When somebody wants to go. That was one of the conversations I had with him, actually. when he was in a coma, because I didn't know if he could hear me.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctors and the staff, some of the staff there were just so fucking amazing, you know, because they knew how to talk to this.
I remember
And one of the surgeons came up and said, if you want to hug him, you can hug him. And I was like, you know, because he almost looked like he was lifeless. You know how you're talking about witnessing that? It was like a shock for me to see him like that. And he said, you can still talk to him, you know, they can hear you. And he said, I'll give you your privacy. And then that's when I wanted to acknowledge that as his daughter, whatever his decision was, that he had whatever he needed, blessings or whatever. I understood that that was his decision to make, and how he supported me in my life. I was going to support him in his decision and his, you know, decision making, how he wanted to exit. And I thanked him for his...
Continue, sorry.
Yeah, an exit and entry in another. So, and that was a more into it conversation. It was just one of those things that he didn't have to hang on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when everybody was ready to say those words, that's when he transitioned.
Okay.
So we were sitting at our, sorry, I'm just jumping here, but when we were sitting at the apartment and I was writing this eulogy and I was like, fuck, how do you encapsulate somebody's life in a speech? And we were sitting there, I had my feet up or something on our coffee table at that time, and then the TV turned on by itself. And you were there, I think you were in the kitchen, but it was still like, you know, logic, right? That side of your brain that just wants to question everything. I was like, did you turn do you have a remote up there, or, you know? And this is like soon after he passed. I was like, no. And then I was like, well, who turned the TV on? And then we both kind of did that thing where we looked at the remote on the coffee table. And then we're like, okay. So I'm like, okay, just total freakish thing, right? It was just a freak accident. Then what happened was there was a flash. It almost looks like a camera flash. And it shows up at the corner of the room. And I saw it, and you can almost hear the sound of it. It's like a click, right? And then I remember, I asked you, because my logical brain was like, I had to make sense of this. I didn't want to tell you where I saw it, and I didn't want to tell you what it looked like. So I said, Nikki, did you see something? You're like, yes, I did. And then I'm like, where in the room? Right? I was being very analyst, like, where in the room did you see it? On this so-and-so corner. And then it was just like, you know, it was a pinching of the nose, right? I was like, holy fuck. And then I was like, what did you see? And you're like, just this big flashing bright white light, and it was in that corner of the room.
Yeah, up top.
And then we had more moments where he was making his decision. He's like, okay, I'm out. And I call that fireworks, because you and I saw red, white, blue.
It was.
Like, right? It was like all of these. It was fireworks, man.
Yeah, it was.
You know, it was like, yeah, I fucking came here, right? I came here as a spark, and I'm leaving as a fucking spark.
Yeah, he was definitely a spark.
You know, that was his kind of personality. And there were, you know, we talked to a channeler and stuff, but there are other beings and guides celebrating with you, whether you want to call it ancestry lineages, friends, people you've met in past lives, whatever it is. I don't know what your belief system is, insert it here. But there was just a celebration of this human being's life, and a celebration in what a beautiful journey, right? So that sparked our curiosity. That sparked my curiosity, where I was like, okay, it just does not make sense to have somebody be in your life, they exit, you know, where the doctor clocks in the time, you know, checks, okay, that person's out, exited out. It just doesn't make sense that I was like, it doesn't make sense that I can't talk to him anymore. I want to know how to figure out how to talk to him. And so the journey started.
And you are, wow, thank you for sharing that. So you're so light about it and so elegant about it. And I love you.
Well, it was tough. It was, thank you. You know what? And thank you for your support and everybody's support during that time.
Always.
That was tough.
Always.
Because it's not like as a channeler and you know, people who can talk to those who have deceased or passed or transitioned, it doesn't mean I don't miss his physicality, right? Because there was a time where I asked, speaking of dream sequences, there was a time where I was like, I just wanted a hug, you know, but I wanted to physically touch him, hug, and I couldn't, right? So I remember just asking that. I'm like, if there's a way that I could get a hug, give me a hug, Dad, right? And this is when he passed. It was the one thing I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he came through the door in my dream. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And a door for me signifies a portal. You're
yes.
walking through. You're opening doors. You're entering the same room, the same space. Right?
Yeah.
So when he came through that door, I remember seeing him, and I think I was sitting on the couch. I can't remember if cousins or family were there. And then I was like, and then I saw him. It was very nonchalant, right? And I just kind of turned around. I'm like, oh, it's Dad. And I'm like, oh, that's Dad. Right? And then I started getting teary-eyed in my dream. And then I said, none of this is real. That's what I told him. I'm like, this is not real. And that's when he put out his hand. And I started bawling my eyes. And then he's like, you can touch me. And then our hands connected. And I could actually feel.
Wow.
I could feel him. And he just gave a hug. And then I woke up. And I'm like, thanks, Dad. That's what I wanted. That's all I wanted, was just
beautiful.
A hug.
Wow.
So I think, Nick, I would like to expand on this topic a bit more in the sense of, because like I said, this point was very pivotal for me and for you as well, that I believe everybody has a capacity, should this be something that excites them, to talk to those who have loved, and to also, as we just to expand on, to build a relationship with those who have transitioned, that you can build that, right? So again, one of the dreams that I had when I too was like a bit weary about the topic, right? You know, and I thought, oh gosh, like, you know, worry about the topic, I'll leave it at that. And I remember in my dream, I just picked up, a phone was ringing in the middle of nowhere. I was at a dock, and I picked up, and it was just Dad. And he does this thing, he does his dadisms. Hey, right? He drags it up. Hey, what's going on? Right? And I'm like, oh, hey, Dad.
Oh, I remember that.
Nothing, right? Nothing. And he's like, yeah. So, right? Like, and he's just checking in, doing his dad things, right? And I remember waking up from that dream. And then I was like, Nick, that's all it is. That's how you just pick up a telephone, like telepathy, right? You think of somebody, you connect with them. And then this heart exchange. Exactly. And this heart exchange and this conversation occurs. There's going to come a point, because I can, for my practice with channeling, there's going to come a point where sometimes you feel like, and Bashar talks about this too, where you, oh, am I making this up? Every channeler goes through that, no matter how experienced they are.
We've already gone through that.
Yeah, it's like, am I like, is this for real? Is this for, right? And there comes a questioning and doubt. There will come a point when you practice this, you're going to fucking know for sure that that person is your person, whether it comes as an image, like visually, or through sound. I started getting sound. Remember, I had people speak in my ear, and that freaked the fuck. This was at the penthouse, Nick, where something happened, and I heard Hindi in my ear. They were speaking Hindi. And I remember the dog was on the bed, and I literally, because I was so new to this, I jumped out of bed, and I think the dog flew 5 miles. Because I think we both fucking heard it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is that? And then I had an intuitive impulse of a family member, right, that wasn't doing so well. And what happened was they weren't. So that was like, go check in on her.
Yeah. Wow. All these.
And she's doing well and all that stuff too. It wasn't, you know, but
yeah, it's the connection, right, that we allow by, like you said, connecting with our hearts at a heart level, right? You got to leave this out of it. And that's where the work is. This constant work between this and this, right? Connecting the two, and let your heart lead the mind. The mind is brilliant, but let your heart lead it, and it will always take you to the place where everything is, all your desires, all your possibilities, all your dreams, joy, everything that you're wanting is on that side, right?
It's on that side. It's manifested here.
Yes.
You know, you can have it here. You know, Abe would say you don't have to croak to be happy.
No,
you know,
that's it. And you know what? Death, I want to say this too. Death isn't, you know why we're having such a hard time with it is, you know, like I said in the beginning, cultural and religious ceremonial thing, right? And because we don't understand it. So what do we do when we don't understand something? We fear it. We're like, right?
Yeah.
But also, well, I just lost my fucking thought.
That's okay. That is okay.
Utter honesty. No, but this is big.
I think if you don't mind,
I'll let you.
It might come back. It might circle back. What we're getting at here is that almost like a takeaway. If you want to practice this, practice with a flower. Practice because they're forgiving.
Yes.
Talk to a flower, right? Pansies work well. They look like they have a face. And roses. Roses are a bit prickly. I tend to one in the front yard all the time. And they're
a lot prickly.
She's beautiful and all, and then she'll just give me she'll give me a thorn once in a while, and I will ask her, why did you do that?
Oh, okay. What did she say?
And I'm trying to think of that conversation right now, but right now as I'm looking at her, it's because I'm a rose and that's what I do. And you know what? I like to say, just like people, every rose is different. You know, I talk to a squirrel.
They all have prickles.
They do. This is true. They have their thorns, and even with I was just gonna say, even with Susan, she's different than other squirrels that I talk to. Even my chickadee that I talked to just yesterday, who I call Elizabeth. Even with the chickadee, I know who she is by her song.
By her song, yeah.
So, and it's her. Even though they all look like they're wearing the same jacket, the same furry jacket, I'm like, you're not Elizabeth, you're not Elizabeth. It's very much like the Little Prince and the rose.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, that's my rose because my rose has tamed me. Right? Or you've built a relationship. So, and I've heard of other people, you know, like herbalists, actually, Nick, who do this too. And they go out to the forest. When they go out and they greet a tree, and we won't get into the mycelium network of trees and how they communicate, because that's a whole other IOTC topic, but right? Life. And how a forest knows when you enter. I know with my forest that I keep going to, they know when I enter. They're like, Pam's here. And it's like the trees are like, Pam's here, Pam's here. And there's
domino effect.
Domino effect. And you know what? Like, they can hear your footsteps, right? That's how fucking intuitive they are and sensitive, and they can pick up on these vibrations. The beautiful thing about the forest, and what I've heard other Jedis and herbalists say, is to go build a relationship with the herb, build a relationship with the tree. Don't just go there once and talk to it. Go there and be like, hey, how's it going? Right? Go back again and talk about your day, whatever it is. And then, I kid you not, should you be open to this, like opening the channel, like that book, it's a good book to start with. You're going to hit a switch and you're going to hit an exchange. And then you're going to hit some really cool, profound calms coming your way. That's all I have to say on that topic. I don't know if there's anything you'd like to add on that.
All I want to say is about building the relationship. So if you want to know more about how to be in touch with maybe a loved one that's passed, or get to know this topic of death, if you want to know more about it, look at your relationship with someone who has passed. So, you know, if you want to get in touch with, say, your dad or not anybody, and okay, Nikki,
just
how do I do that?
That's passed away.
A loved one
we want to talk to.
So you start talking to them, and you know what? If there is some sort of, you know, when you receive them, is when you see the best of them. the best of your experience with them while they were here. So recall all the loving moments that you've had with them. Recall your best time. Recall the laughter. And you know what? They're gonna shine through. They're gonna come through, and you're gonna know that that's them. Now, because what does spirit do? It's pure positive energy, right? And they come from that loving space. So there might need to be some forgiveness going on there. Maybe you didn't have a good relationship with them, and now you want to tell them some things that you're like, oh, I can't anymore because they're gone. No, you can.
Nick. Yes, you can.
Tell them how much you love them. And if there's something that you wanted to say that you never did, go to your forest, connect with Mother Earth and that mycelium network, and start talking to your loved ones that have departed.
Yes.
And watch what happens, because I promise you, it's going to be a magical experience. And you know what? You may not hear them the first time or the second or the third, but something inside of you is going to know. You're going to feel different. You're going to feel something. Your day is going to shift.
I was just going to say it's going to shift. Internally, there's going to be a shift.
Yeah. And you're never going to be the same. And you will have grown. And you're starting to unlock, or maybe it's not even unlock, but like open up this whole new world that you've been scared to. And now you're more curious about it and starting to understand. And your whole experience here is going to be that much more fulfilling and enriching. And it's going to better your relationships with all your loved ones now. Guaranteed. So that's all I wanted to say about the relationship with the
I like that. I like I really like how, you know, the unresolved, right? That you touched upon. I really love that. Thank you so much. You said it so eloquently.
Unresolved.
Because there are those relationships, it can be with family members, parents, whoever it is, right? That's transition. And you're like, oh, I still have a bit of fuck you left inside of me, right? And that's okay to acknowledge the fuck you, right? Whatever occurred, whatever happened. And I remember telling this with clients. Thank you for that. I was like, because I'll get, you know, somebody comes in my vicinity, and I do a lot of, you know, we're talking about rituals. I'm not tuned into this all the time, right? I have my clock in and clock in times for my practice, right?
Boundaries.
Exactly. So when somebody comes in and I hear a parent, or it's usually a parent coming through, and I hear, tell her I'm sorry. So when I hear that, I was like, initially when I first started, I was like, oh fuck, no, I'm not going to have that conversation because I know something happened, right? That needs to be resolved. And usually what has happened in those conversations that I convey is they just wanted to be there more for them. Tell her I wanted to be there for her. Tell her, and again, you know, when we're saying like the I'm sorry, this is like, this energy is at a disc. It's almost like an emotional disc that needs to be released. So, you know, when you gave the message to that man's sister, and right, and she started crying, that's the emotion that was, I don't want to call it stored, it was in a moment in time encapsulated. And you, like the Pandora's box and the delivery of it, opened it and helped somebody release sadness, anger, frustration. So one of the practices that I encourage clients to do is to go into the forest, to have those kind of conversations one-on-one with whoever it is, and say what you need to say. And I said, be still. And I say forest because the forest helps ground you, right? So as you're going through these things, whether it's sad or hey, you know, whatever it is, it grounds you. And then I said, be still and be quiet and wait for your reply.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Because you'll hear it.
Yeah, well, the grounding that you speak of, that gets us present in the moment, and you actually get to feel that through your feet and through your fingertips and through all your senses. All your physical senses are going to come alive. And that is when they're coming through, right?
Yeah, you'll tell. So I really liked how you said everything there, and where this conversation is going. I love that.
Likewise. Well, okay.
No, go ahead.
I'm just looking at our clock. We're at 35-minute mark. 35 minutes.
Oh wow. We should wrap this up then. Okay.
You think? I
I think, well, should I make the special announcements now? Since we're talking about speaking with those who have transitioned and speaking to flowers. Speaking of flowers and speaking to animals, one of our amazing guests on IOTC is going to be, you can say her last name better than I do, Claudia Hare?
Air.
Thank you. So she is an amazing human being who is an animal communicator. She talks to the animals. And she's got some fascinating stories that I can't wait. And we're talking about your pets. We're talking about connecting with wild animals. We're talking about connecting with aquarium animals, right?
Yes.
So we have Claudia. We also have Cy Montgomery. I hope I'm saying her first name right. But she is author of, I have her book. It's not here, but
she talks to octopuses.
There you go. And we wanted to make another announcement because I fall into this category as well, that not all beings that you talk to have to be human. We have Daryl Anka on the show, who talks to a sentient being from the Sirius Star Nation.
Yes.
So one of many things that we all do. So I'm stoked and excited, and guess who's going to be the first on our show coming March, IOTC interviews? Daryl Anka.
Daryl is amazing. Is awesome.
Daryl Anka. So yeah, there you go. I'm excited about all that. To wrap it up, I do have something I want to say to wrap it up.
Okay, I'll take the floor, please.
And you can add, if you want to, I'll obviously add to this topic as well. I find that the topic of death, from what I've studied and experienced, makes people question why they're here. And then also for those who have reached like a really rich life, right? And those who have lived more life than I have given me some little nuggets, like, don't care what other people think. I wish I didn't care what other people thought of me. Don't go to bed mad. That's been like so common, is to not go to bed mad. And don't die with a dream still inside of you, right? Whatever it is you want to do, go do those things. Go take those risks. Go take those chances. And those are just some things that I've learned.
Don't die with the music still playing. Let the
in
music
your heart.
play in your heart. Yeah. And don't be such an asshole. Be kinder. Well, I'm talking because we're jerks to ourselves, right?
Yes, we are. We can be.
You know, Pam, I'm a straight shooter, and that's not what it comes out of my mouth, right?
I love it.
Yeah. Seriously, like, be kinder, because kindness trumps everything. And if you're kind, you can't be an asshole and kind at the same time. You're either or. And I promise you, your life is going to take on a whole other meaning with kindness attached to it that you are not going to recognize. You are going to blow your mind. You are going to go, who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I? And you're going to serve the world, and you're going to live here with significance because you are kind. That's it. If you do nothing else. Right? So be kind and don't go to bed mad. You already said that. That's a huge one for me too.
I wish I could have. I always wanted to.
Yeah, I wish I could have always wanted to.
I wish I would have said.
Yeah, I wish I would have done more. I wish I would have dedicated more time to or with, spend more time with.
I wish I didn't care. There you go.
I wish I didn't care.
I wish I didn't care what. Yeah.
I think these are great. That's a great. These are great thoughts, takeaways, and thoughts to end it off with. I think.
I agree too. Good.
Yay!
That was it.
We did it. Yay!
Next week, IOTC interviews, Nick.
Yes.
IOTC interviews.
Coming up.
Stay
IOTC
tuned.
Interviews. Stay tuned.
March.
It's not next week. It's going to be in March. We're going to have a break until then. And prepare.
Because
we like to prepare. In the meantime, if you like what you see, Please subscribe to our channel on YouTube, IOTC. Is it IOTC or hashtag IOTC? Well, whatever. You'll see our faces and you know it's us.
Yeah.
And if you click that bell, then you'll know when the next episode comes up. We love you. Thank you for all your comments. You know what? Drop us questions below as well.
Please do. Yeah.
You know, you never know. It might be, if there's any topics that you want to discuss, if you have any questions, ask us. Who knows? We might have you on the show and
also address the question on the show, right? I mean, if it comes up.
Talk about it.
Yeah. All right.
And remember, kindness goes a long way. So go be kinder. Go put a smile in someone's heart. Hey, you know what? Go give someone a hug. I'm gonna go hug my grandma after this, even though I think she's in bed. I don't care. I'm gonna go freak her out and go give her a hug, and she'll be like, "What happened?"